Happy New Year and welcome back. So much fun to see you guys here. And yes, this they burned a little bit longer than I thought they would, but anyway, now it's over. Welcome back. I hope you all had an awesome Christmas and that you had a bunch of tasty foods and snacks, and maybe you had something to drink if you're old enough, or maybe even if you're not, that you, yeah, I hope you had an awesome time and that you partied like crazy at New Year's. I partied like it was 1999. And today we are gonna continue with a new build. Yes, the year's first build. And if you've been around for a while, on this channel, we start the year off with an easy build for beginners. Something that anyone can do, something simple. So, that's what we're going to do today as well. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to split this up into 3 videos. You'll get all 3 videos in a row, but I'm doing it because some of you are really beginners and want to just build this super easy, and then have it and play with it, and then go and make music and have fun. And it's super easy. It's just a couple of wires and a couple of jacks. It's gotta be super easy. And some of you are a little bit more advanced and you feel like, nah, I want to put in a light as well, and you know, be able to, you know, see a light turn on and off with a switch. And some of you want it just, you know, passive. And then in the last video we were also gonna see if we can make this into something super useful and, you know, something that goes on your pedal board and maybe stays on your pedal board forever. Who knows? So that's why I'm splitting this up, just so that you can, you can decide for yourself what level you want to be at. And also, if you build the first one and you play around with it for a week and then you feel like, no, you know what? I can take the next step now and see if I can't, you know, follow along in the next video. Then you can do so. And that way the video won't be super long, hopefully. And also the video won't contain things that maybe aren't relevant. I'm going to try to make videos that are more to the point and more just, here is the one thing that I'm talking about, and we're not going to talk about anything else. I know I'm really good at sidetracking, and I'm also very good at rambling, and I also know I'm really good at dragging things out. But I'm working on all these things, and hopefully 2024 is the year to do it. I really hope it wasn't like 2004, because then I'm screwed, because that year, surprise, surprise, has already been. But anyway, this intro is getting too long, and for someone who's saying that he's trying to shorten everything down, that's a disaster. So let's jump in to start building this pedal. Now what are we going to make? We're going to make a signal split box. And what you need is a box. And I have a couple of more holes, but don't worry about it. You need 1 hole for your switch, and 1 hole for your input, and 1 hole for your output. Then you need 2 holes on the top for 2 extra jacks. And that's what you need in this video. In the next video, you're also going to need a hole for the power in and an LED. So if you already know that you might want to do that as well, add an LED, you can pre-drill those holes already now. Okay, so here is the pedal. And as you can probably tell, I have more jacks and an extra switch than I said. And we're not going to focus on that. We're obviously going to have to use one of these as the output, but we're going to ignore 2 of these and 1 of these for now. This is for the last video. They're just in place so that things are prepared for that. And if you feel like, oh, well, maybe I should wait until the next video then before I start building this. Yes, you might maybe want to do that. You'll have to make that call yourself, but they're coming out, you know, all videos in a row, so you're not gonna have to wait that long. Anyway, basically, if you think about it, this is what we're gonna build. Today, plus one of these. And if you build this and then regret not building with extra jacks and things, you can build a bunch of these and put them together with a cable in between, so you don't necessarily need to worry. The first thing we have to do is obviously attach all the things so that our pedal is ready. And the next thing is we have to look at these mono jacks, and you will have two connections. This is a stereo jack, but we're going to use it as a mono jack, so just ignore it. Focus on this one instead. You have two legs here, and one leg goes to this middle right here, and that's the ground. We don't need to use the ground because everything is going to be grounded because of the box of itself. So we're just going to connect a bunch of wires to the other log. So you can basically think, if this is ground or minus, then this has to be lead or plus. Okay? So just remember that. For this to work, you can't put a wire in the wrong place. Obviously that comes without giving, then it won't work. But if you look, for example, here, this one goes to the ring in the middle, which will be connected to the sleeve. This one, it doesn't. And so this one goes under here, comes around and goes to this thing here that will be pressed up against the tip of your cable when it gets pushed in, like so. And that's the lead connection. So for example, if I take this plug right here, this is the ground, this is a little insulator plastic ring that separates the two, and this, the tip here, that's your lead. And when I press this in here, you can see how this gets connected to the ground, the sleeve, the ring, and the tip here is connected to this sleeve right here that is pushing up against it, and that's our lead connection. I hope that made sense, because you need for it to make sense in order to build this. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is pre-tin all the connections and all the legs on the switches. And the way you do that, and what pre-tinning is that you just put down a little bit of solder before you connect anything. So you just take your soldering iron, you feed it a little bit of solder, and you just press it into place like this. And you just let that solder flow into the connection. And you can't see this, but they have a little hole. And you let that hole just get filled up with a little bit of solder. And you have to do it to all of the connections here. You don't have to do it to the ground connections, but as these jacks are old, which you might be able to tell, that's something that's already happened. But you have to do it to all the legs, or at least most of them. So you might as well do all of them. Now, we're gonna start off by looking at this pedal, and the way it works is that you plug your guitar into it, right here, right? Like this. And then your guitar comes out and goes to your amp, just like a regular pedal. So we're going to plug something in there, just to keep track of it. So if you have an old guitar cable, now is the perfect time to plug it in and just have it there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of wire, and it's actually a piece of copper, or a lot of pieces of copper, thin, hair-like pieces, inside of a plastic cover. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take, for example, a scissor, but there are tools for this, and we're going to remove the very outer plastic cover. That's called stripping the wires. And then we're going to take and pre-tin that tip that we just stripped. And again, pre-tinning just means we're putting solder on things before we are connecting them to anything, like so. And now you can take this wire, and from the input jack's lead connection, you can just melt the solders together, like so. And that wire will now be connected. we can now pull this wire over to the switch and over to the middle row of the switch. And we'll cut this off, make it a little bit longer than maybe you think you need, like so. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll strip the wire, like so, and we'll pre-tin it. And once you've pre-tinned it, you can move it into place and you can solder it to the middle row's first leg. Like so. So now wire goes right there. The next thing you have to do is you have to cut a tiny bit of wire, strip it back and pre-tin it. The steps I've already shown you. And then we're just gonna solder that to the first row's last leg and the last row's last leg. Like so. Just like that. And we're gonna try and see if we can tuck this in so that we can put the lid back on. Something like that. Okay, so the next thing we need is one lead wire from this upper jack here, the first jack, to the first leg of this first row, like so. And then from this next jack's lead connection, we need a wire that goes to the first leg of the last row, like so. So the last thing we need is a wire from the last row's middle leg, like so. And it's getting pulled all the way over here to the output jack, like so. Let's just now quickly, because this might be confusing to someone, go through it. We have our switch right here. We have our input jack where our guitar is plugged in here. And we have our output jack right here where our guitar signal comes out and goes to our amp. We have two jacks up here connected to the switch down here. What will happen is your guitar gets plugged in here, your signal goes here. Your signal will go down here, loop around here, and get connected up here and go all the way to your amp, and nothing will happen. Or you will press the switch, your signal will go here, go up here, go to this jack, out from this jack, and into whatever pedal you have plugged in here. You have to have a pedal plugged in here. Obviously, that's the whole turning any pedal into a true bypass. It will go through the pedal circuit, which you have to turn on, so it has to be always on. Come back to this jack here and go to this through this cable here, come back down here to this connection here and go to the jack. So for example, let's pretend you've plugged in a Boss distortion pedal here, for example. It doesn't have to be a Boss, just taking it as an example. You will start the pedal the way you would always start a pedal when you want the effect on. Press it down. Then you would leave that pedal alone. Well, you would set it to the taste and the sound that you want, but then you would leave it alone. And you would control the bypassing of the signal through this switch. So you would turn it on with this or turn it off. And here is the way it looks from the front. Super easy thing to make. And if you follow these steps, you really shouldn't have any problems. That's the end of this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you'll try this out. I hope you think this is cool. I realize that some of you want me to plug it in and show you that it works, but I'm gonna continue working on this and make the next video, which will come out real soon. So you might watch this and it is already out, and if it is, I will link it below. But yeah, that's the end of this video, and I hope this helps. I hope this inspires you to build something. I have a lot of other videos, if you're new here, about beginner things and pedal experiments and pedals that you can build. So press the like and the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications, and you will find something fun here, I promise you. There are also more videos coming on the way. like I said, I'm already gonna wire up the LEDs right away now so that you can watch that video. And yeah, maybe you want to have an LED. Last time I did something like this, super easy, everyone asked me if I could show how to wire up an LED to it as well. So I'm just, you know, I'm ahead of you or something. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool and go and build this thing, because even if you're, you know, a beginner or if you're not a beginner, it doesn't really matter. You need to have one of these because they're super practical to have. And in the last video, I'm gonna go more into why this might actually be something really cool that you could want and use. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.